I'm Marcus Kilwington, I'm the founder of Food Profits. And have you ever wondered why some pubs are extraordinary and yet some pubs and bars are just okay, average, mediocre, dare I say even poor? Have you ever wondered why that might be? Just a show of hands for me, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever eaten in a pub. Fabulous. That's pretty much everybody. Okay, now, it's not always easy, is it, running a pub? It can be a bit of a struggle, can't it, sometimes, yeah? There's a gentleman down here smiling, but he's already nodding. But it can be a struggle. And if you've got anything heavy going on in your life right now, and you kind of think that the whole world's got it all figured out, and yet silently in your own head you're suffering, you're not alone. Because I was at exactly that place not that long ago. And it can seem like everybody's doing great, everybody knows what to do, and yet it's just not working for you. And it kind of felt like that for me for quite a long time. Probably about my journey started 11 years ago. And during that time, it's been hard. It's been a struggle. Not easy. But one of the things I found was there's always hope out there. There's always somebody that has been there before where you are. And there's always someone that can, if you like, shine the light into your world. And the funny thing is that it's always the darkest times when it's the worst times, isn't it? They tend to be those times, but there's always hope. And what happened for me is I spent the last 11 years struggling, but at the same time learning a few things. And I want to give you a piece of advice today, just before I get into the meat of the 45 minutes that we've got with each other today, ladies and gentlemen. And it's this. You might want to write this down, you might want to make a few notes today. But go and find people who know more than you do. Go and find people who know more than you. Go and find people who you look up to, people that you can learn from. Really, really important. And what happened to me a few years ago was I discovered something, and I discovered that I needed to make a few changes within myself. And what it did is led me to a number of conclusions. And those conclusions, what they did was taught me a few powerful strategies on how to improve things. So what I'm going to do with you today, ladies and gentlemen, in the next 45 minutes, is I'm going to share some of the things that I've learned that can make a radical, positive, transformational difference to your pub and bar business. Now, just show of hands for me if you've been here, apart from today, you've been here maybe Monday or you've been here Tuesday, and you've been to see one or two of the talks. Anybody? Excellent stuff. Right, that's fabulous. Okay, lovely. Because the thing is, I'm just a normal, everyday, ordinary kind of guy that's learned a few things along the way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a few of those things with you today, ladies and gentlemen. Because what it led me to, my journey of 11 years led me to realise that there were certain things that human beings do and certain things that human beings don't do that impact on our behaviour. And if you had the fortunate pleasure yesterday of listening to Diego from the Waterside Inn at Bray up here, he talks a lot about behaviours. If you listen to David Moore or James Rusk yesterday on one of the host space stages, they also talked a lot about human behaviour. And so one of the things I found during the last 11 years I discovered was actually pretty much it all boils down to behaviour and actually what we do and how that impacts on other people and how other people's behaviour also impacts on us. Does that make any sense? Yes or yes? Thank you so much. Right, superb. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you a secret. And I'm going to share with you a secret that it took me 11 years to discover. And some of you will have heard this before. And I just want to share this with you today, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, is this. You may have heard some things before in your life, but my question to you is, have you heard it? Or do you actually do it? And I don't mean that to be cheeky in any way, shape or form. But often we hear things on an intellectual level and they go in here, but we actually don't take the action, we don't do anything differently. And you've probably all heard that great Einstein phrase, which is if you continue to do the same things that you've always done, you'll always get the same results that you've always got. Anybody heard that phrase before? Thank you, smiling, brilliant. So I'm going to share with you what I have discovered is the secret to running a successful pub and bar. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to distill it down. So I'm going to actually share with you the psychology of why that is. And the reason that it's a psychology is because each and every one of us is driven by wants and needs. And the truth is, we're actually not driven by needs anymore, certainly not in the United Kingdom, because most of us, including all your customers, have pretty much got everything they need. But they haven't got everything they want. Does this make sense? Yes or yes? Because we're driven by wants, ladies and gentlemen. If you lived in Africa or you lived in the Middle East, you'd be driven more by needs than you would by wants. But in the UK, we're driven by wants. And if any of you listened to Peter Martin on Monday this week, from CJ Peach, when he talks about pubs closing in the UK, and whoever you listen to, different people will tell you that between about 26 and 29 pubs close a week in the UK. What's also quite interesting is that last year over 1,300 restaurants opened up, new restaurants. So why is that then? What would that be about? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share very, very quickly, before I get into psychology and the whys, is the one secret that if you address this will alter the way your customers feel about your pub and bar. And it's this, I'm going to say it 3 times, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say it 3 times. And I just want it to soak into the cells of your subconscious mind. I want it to burn into your mind. So here we go, here's what it is. It's how you make people feel. It's how you make people feel. It's about how you make people feel. Because we're feeling beings, we're human beings, we're feeling beings. Now, most of you probably knew that before. But what I want to do in the next 40 minutes, I actually want to get down to distill down exactly why that is and what you can do about it and how it can actually impact on your pub and bar. Because my belief, ladies and gents, is there's never ever been a better time to run a pub and bar. And the managed houses, the managed groups are growing. Every year there are more managed house outlets, and every year there are less non-managed and less tenanted. And if I can quote Peter Martin from Monday, it's a battlefield. It's a battlefield, because the truth is you and I have more choice now than we've ever had, ever before. Haven't we? Yes or yes? More choice than ever, but the truth is, people aren't going out anymore. So what does that mean, you might think to yourself? What it means is that we need to be better than our competition. We need to be the destination, pub and bar, that people, listen to this word, want to go to. Make sense? Yes or yes? Fantastic. Okay, so what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to give you something, by the way, at the end of today as well. So I'm going to give you a surprise you can take away with you. It will help you achieve that secret about helping make people feel. And the key here is better, ladies and gentlemen. So I want to ask you a question. Last time you went out to a pub, most of you put your hands up earlier, just think about this. Last time, whenever it was, anyone go out last night to a pub? Nobody? Okay. Somebody did down here. Okay, fantastic. The thing I want to ask you is, what was it like for you? Was it good? Was it okay? Was it mediocre? Was it average? Or was it sensational? What was it like? Was it memorable? Was it memorable for the right reasons? Two ladies shaking their head here. Or was it memorable for the wrong reasons? What was it like for you? Because it's all about a feeling, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is you actually know that already, don't you? You kind of knew that already. 2 phrases I'd like you to write down and take away with you today. You might have heard these before, but I want these to etch into the cells of your memory banks as well, ladies and gentlemen, please. The first phrase is marvellous memory. You might want to write that one down. Marvellous memory. And the other phrase I want you to write down is, did you have, when you went out to the pub, whenever it might be, a magical moment or many magical moments? I want you to write that phrase down, please, as well. Was it memorable? Or was it just ordinary or awful? Because the experience is everything. Now, you all, like me, have heard that many, many times before. You've heard that the experience is everything. It's all about the experience. And people kind of just go, yeah, it's all about the experience, isn't it? But what does that really mean? because it's so easy to pass it by. Just show hands to me who was here yesterday to listen to Diego from Waterside, isn't it, Ray? Great stuff, a few of you. Now, he talks about this all the time, about the experience, and if you listen to anybody who's successful, they always talk about the experience. But often what we get hung up on is stuff, often is strategies, but if you've not got the psychology behind the strategy actually sorted out, it doesn't matter how many strategies you've got. It doesn't matter how people tell you about you need to do this on social media and that on social media, it doesn't matter. Because it's all about getting the experience right. And ladies and gentlemen, we are emotive beings, right? We're driven by our emotions, absolutely driven by our emotions. So people want to feel better when they come to your pub and bar. They absolutely want to come to your bar, your pub, and feel better. Because we've all got a thing in our heads called the limbic brain. I don't know if you've ever heard about this. But the limbic brain is all emotionally driven. So you may consider yourself to be a really logical person, and you can get 100 pieces of information on logic, but you are driven by your limbic brain, which means emotionally you'll make the decision, even if all the pieces of information stack up to you making a different decision. Just show hands for me, ladies, a few ladies in here today. Have you ever been out with a guy that kind of said all the right things, did all the right things, took you here, there and everywhere, but it kind of just didn't kind of feel right anywhere? Somebody, yeah, this lady down here nodding and smiling. I can't see us down here. Like there's two ladies over here as well. Something just doesn't quite feel right, does it? So you can get all this logical stuff, but it just doesn't quite feel right. And it's exactly the same when you're running your pub and bar. And I'm going to spend a bit of time on this because, again, Diogo from Waterside in yesterday talked about how you make people feel. And the experience is absolutely everything. So there's a formula to this. Now then, just quick show of hands just before I get into the formula with you. Just, has anybody in here ever been to a pub and had what I would describe as a wow experience? Wow! So good that you couldn't wait to get home and tell your family. So good that you couldn't wait to get to work and tell your colleagues. So good that you couldn't wait to get back. Has that happened to anybody, ladies and gentlemen, here? There's a lady down here, there's a lady over there at the back. So why if you just like volunteer 1 quick minute, I'm going to bring a microphone to you. Who would like to do that? You don't have to if you don't want to. Yes or no? Lady over the back, yes? Take the lady at the back, please, if you would do. Okay, now this is quite interesting, right? Because, ladies and gentlemen, I just want you to look around the room now. Could the two ladies just put their hands up for me, please? Who just said you had a wire experience. Just put your hand up. Lady in the back, put your hand up for me. Please, if you would be kind enough. Lovely, I'll get you just 1 second with you. Right, just look around the room for a moment, would you? Because that's really interesting if you think about this, isn't it? Yeah, there's probably maybe about 100 of you here now, with all the people at the back that are looking in here. Only 2 of you put your hand up when I asked you if you've had a wow experience when you went to a pub. Does that tell you something? Yes or yes? What does it tell you? It tells you that there's a massive opportunity, doesn't it? Yeah? It does, doesn't it? Yeah, just soak that in, just take that on board. Madam, what's your name, please?
Helena.
Helena. Can we just give Helena a big round of applause, please? Right, fabulous. We are in London, aren't we, today, so can we do a bit better than that? Come on. Right, that's a bit better. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is the best capital city in the whole of the world, isn't it? Yes or yes? Come on, let's have a... Is this the city, is this the very same city that had the best ever Olympic Games in the history of mankind? Yes or yes? Fantastic. Right, Helena, please, just take a moment. Just share with everybody just 2 or 3 things about that experience for you and why it was memorable, please.
We actually had to queue for over an hour for a table for food, but we were regularly updated, which for me makes it a big difference. We were really looked at, I felt we were looked after. The food was awesome, and we just had a really nice time.
Fabulous. Can we have a hand? Big hand, please. Remember, we're in London. Yes. Come on. I know you're more passionate than that. Hello, thanks so much for that. Right, now then, let's just break that down a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to talk quite quickly. So we've only got about 40 minutes with each other today. Each and every one of us has 6 human needs. Some of you will have heard a few of these things before. Some of you will go, yeah, I knew that, Marcus. I'll remind you from about 10 minutes ago. Have you heard it at the lecture level? Do you actually really get into it? Okay? Right. So, every single one of us in this room has got the same 6 human needs. Every single person outside of this room has got the same 6 human needs. So I'm just going to talk through these with you. Right, number 1 is certainty. We all want certainty. We all want to feel But when we go to a pub or a bar, there are certain things that we get that are certain. Just quick show of hands for me. If you're with partner, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, must be a few of you. Fantastic. Okay, good. All right. You want to be certain that when you get home tonight, they're there, if they're meant to be there. You want to be certain. Who's got children in here? Okay. You want to be certain that your children come home from safe, don't from school. You want to be certain that your children are there, whether it's today when you get back, whether it's Thursday when you get back, a little bit later. But you want to be certain about a whole load of things. You want to be certain that you've got some money to pay your mortgage or your rent at the end of the month. Would that be fair? Yes or yes? Thank you. So there's a lot of things you want to be certain about. You want to be certain when you go to a pub or a bar, a number of things. And I'm just going to send these quite quickly to you because I want to make sure we cover everything off today, ladies and gents. You want to be certain that the food is good, which is what Helen talks about over there at the back. You want to also be certain that your pub, if I speak particularly for pubs now, has what I would describe as a strong food proposition. Now what I mean by a strong food proposition is it's different to a lot of the other brands out there. There's something unique about you. When I often talk to pub owners about having a strong proposition, is you need to be very clear on what you're actually offering people. It doesn't need to be a little bit woolly. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? So think about what you can offer people. The question you might want to ask yourself, you might have already done this, but what are you known for? What are you known for? A famous phrase that I use is the word famous. It's what are you or could you be famous for in your pub? Because if people get this about your uniqueness, they're more likely to come to you than they are to go to often one of the branded chains. Is this making sense, yes or yes? Okay, the other thing people want to be certain about when they come to your pub or bar is they want to be certain that they are not going to get food poisoning. Don't they? Because I've had it twice in my life. Ended up in hospital once actually. In fact, I almost passed out from the multi-storey car park to actually the A&E because I got food poisoning. So you want to have certainty, your customers need certainty with food hygiene. And my suggestion to all of you is if you don't do this already, is you should one be a 5-star business. If you're not a 5-star business, please make sure you are. Please make sure that you put a sticker on the front door of your pub or bar. Is this making sense? Yes or yes? Fantastic. Okay, certainty. Also, your customers want certainty around friendly staff. Again, we all heard that many, many times before. You've heard it many, many times at this show. You'll probably hear it many, many times tomorrow. We also want to be certain that when we go to the toilets, there's some toilet paper in there, and they don't smell. Yes, or yes. Again, you've all heard this before, haven't you? You've all heard all this before. But my question to you, again, without me being cheeky, is do you do it? Do you actually move it? Because it makes a difference. And ladies and gentlemen, it's often the little things that make the big difference. You haven't got to spend a whole ton of money on making people feel good. Because it's all about feeling. Is everybody with me so far? Yes or yes? Thank you so much. Right, let me move on to the next one. So certainty. So what can you do in your pub or bar to make sure that people are certain before they come to see you? Yes? Certainty. Right, now the next one. Oops. This may surprise you. I just talked about certainty, I want to talk about uncertainty now. What do I mean by that? I'll explain. I just want you to focus on the two words, surprise or excitement, ladies and gentlemen. Just a show of hands for me, please, if you've been with your current partner for 2 years or more, if you would. That's a few of you. Fantastic. Okay, 2 or more years. Right, something quite interesting happens when you've been with a partner for 2 or more years. Some of you probably already know this, don't you? But what happens often is you know them so well that you're certain about a lot of things about your partner. What time they get up, what they have for breakfast, pretty much what time they're going to get home that night, what kind of holidays are like going on. You can also be certain about what kind of underwear they are wearing right this second, for the most part, right now. Yes. But what happens after about 2 years with the partners? You know, a whole load of certainty which we all need, human need number one, but we also like to have a little bit of surprise, don't we? Yes? A bit of excitement, yes? Your pub and bar guests want exactly the same thing. We want some surprise, some excitement. So we want the certainty that we're going to get great food, great friendly staff, but we want some surprise. Let me give you a couple of little examples of pubs that I've actually spoken to and dealt with over the last few years. There's a pub in Repton, Derbyshire, called the Bull's Head. And I'm going to share with you, just while I'm up here, a few stories of good and bad, so it illustrates a few case studies with you and kind of makes a lot more sense. There's a pub in Repton called the Bull's Head. And on a Monday night, have a quiz night. Again, nothing a bit unusual about quiz night, is there, in a pub? But on a Monday night, have a quiz night. I went a few months ago, and what happened was, about half time, about 9 o'clock, I went to the toilet, and I came back, and on the table, there was two great big cheese and tomato pizzas. And I went, I've not ordered any pizza. And he said, no, these are on the house. We always give pizzas away every Monday evening to everybody that comes along to our quiz night. Was I surprised? Yes. Was I kind of excited? Yes. How much did the pizza honestly cost them? Not a lot of money. But it gave them a good feeling. Yes? I'm going to say this to you time and time again because I want it to soak, I want it to etch into your mind. I'll give you another little example. There's a pub in Sawley called the Spread Eagle. And the Spread Eagle, what happened, the first time I ever went there, never forget this, ordered a couple of drinks, sat down with my friends. And literally about a minute later, up comes a lovely young lady from the bar with a lovely, beautiful bowl of crisps. And left the crisps with us. Again, how much the crisp cost, but it's about the feeling that it actually gives you. Yes or yes? It's about a feeling, ladies and gentlemen. And because the market is so competitive at the moment, we need to be better and different than our competitors out there. People often say to me, can we compete with managed houses? Absolutely, yes you can. Because you know, in my experience, managed houses often aren't that good with the offering that they actually have. So a couple of examples for you. Now, think about when you go away from here, something that you can do, and I mentioned this a moment or two ago, because it doesn't need to cost an awful lot of money. What little things can you give to your customers to excite and delight them? It even costs you very much money. What can you do? Because I'll guarantee you this, a few pubs and bars do this, but the majority do not, ladies and gentlemen. If you remember from 10 minutes ago, there's only 2 people in this room with about 100. Put their hand up and say they had a wow experience. We have to be different for everybody else. It all comes down to how people feel. And by the way, we think with this, but we feel with this, don't we? So what can you do? What can you actually give people that doesn't cost a lot of money that actually will make a big difference to them? Okay, let me just move on to human need number 3 now. You all know this, significance. We all want to be cared for. We all want to be loved. We all want some attention. We all want to feel special. Would that be true or true? True. We all do. For those of you with partners, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, imagine when you left the house today, if you saw them, you kind of went out, you kind of went, oh, I'll see you later. Not really bothered about you. You came home tonight, the first thing you do is go and check your emails, go and watch your TV, all this kind of stuff. You go, yeah, I'm not really bothered about you. How long do you think they would stay around until they left you? It's exactly the same thing with your customers, whatever people want you to do. It's exactly the same thing. We all need certainty. We all need significance, and we all need some sort of surprise. So think about what you can do. I'll tell you again a little story. There's the Villaroo box stand over here. I didn't even know he was going to be here, but Nick Green on Villaroo box stand over there. I know him quite well. And I had a meeting with him at a pub called the Old Auctioneer in Banbury. And again, a quick little story because I want to share good and bad stories with you because it makes more sense by me doing this way after I've kind of shared a concept with you. And I walked into the Old Auctioneer in Banbury, Junction 11 and 40 by the way, if anybody's ever passing. And no, they're not paying any commission to say that. And the first thing that happened as soon as I walked in the back door, literally in about 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, is immediately the bar lady said to me, hello there, good to see you, thank you for coming to our pub today. Straight away. Significance and acknowledgement. Now, be honest, how many pubs and bars do we go into in the UK and that does not happen? The majority, yeah? So we're not made to feel significant, we don't feel important, we don't feel special. So if there's only a few things you take away from my talk here, ladies and gentlemen, today, that is one of them. Make sure that all your team, including you, when somebody walks in your pub or bar, they are acknowledged within about 5 seconds. Yes? I know I'm getting quite passionate and quite loud now because I genuinely mean it. Yeah? If any of you, one or two of you, the 2 ladies put their hands up a little bit ago about being here yesterday with Diogo, is one of the things he said is the most important part of the process when somebody comes to eat or drink with you is when they leave. The second most important part of the process is when they arrive. So we need to be acknowledged when they arrive and thanked when they left. And what's quite interesting also is with the old auctioneer in Banbury, when I left with my friends, it was kind of thank you. So this is exactly what he said. Thank you so much for coming. We hope to see you again soon. How much did it cost? How did it make me feel? Pretty good, yeah? Pretty good. We are feeling beings, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it all before. But I wanted to soak in today. And I don't need to be cheeky or patronising when I say that, because it took me 11 years to get this. I want to share it with you today, because I actually want to reach out today and I want to give you as much as I can possibly give you. So, human need number 3, significance. Okay. Just another quick little story for you as well. A few years ago, I'll share this one with you. I went away for a weekend with my girlfriend actually, and we stayed at a pub with rooms. And we had a meal in the pub, and we went upstairs, and don't jump out of me. And we went upstairs, and we went into the bathroom. My girlfriend was just dying to go to the toilet, so she goes into the toilet, and I put the bags down, and I noticed on the dressing table of this pub with rooms that I went to, there was a little note, and I want to read it out to you. This is what it said. It said, "Welcome to our pub with rooms. I'm Leonie, the housekeeper, and I want you to enjoy your stay, and I want to make it as magical as possible for you." That's what she said to me. Did that make me feel good? Little note. How much did it cost? Nothing. Wait for this bit. It said, "I'm Leonie, I want to make your stay as magical as possible for us. Look under the bed." Look under the bed. What do you think I did? Couldn't wait to look under the bed. Forget unpacking the bags. Forget the bags. What's under the bed? Right. What is under the bed? So I won't demonstrate. It's kind of like my hands and knees, kind of like under the bed, all the rest of it. My girlfriend comes out and she says, "Marcus, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm looking under the bed." She said, "Why are you doing that?" I said, "Because Leonie, the housekeeper's left a little note for us on here saying, I want you to have a magical moment within our pub with rooms. Look under the bed." Under the bed, right in the middle, right in the centre, there's a little note about this big. Do you want to know what he said? Yes? All right. This is what he said. "I also clean under here." Great or great? Yeah? When's the last time you went to a pub with rooms or even a hotel and you had that happen to you? Yeah? How did it make you feel? How did it make you feel? Important? Significant? Absolutely it did. Right, time is running out, ladies and gentlemen. I've got about another 10 minutes. So, another one. Next one, last one. Human need number 4. Love and connection. Now, we all know this. We all need to love. We all need love. We need a whole lot of love. I've heard it again with various people talking over the last few days. Is how, you might want to write this down. Thinking about you, your bar, your pub. And it doesn't matter what kind of bar you're running, but how, because some people kind of find the love word a bit, a bit awkward, don't they? Yeah? Please don't. Ask yourself this. How can we, I used the words yesterday that I heard on stage from David Moore, how can we create love for our guests that come to our pub or bar? How? Because we do have to create love. And if you think to myself, Mark, so you're telling me that I've got to love my customers? Yes, I am. I'm telling you. You've got to love your customers. Yes. I most definitely am. Yes? Strongest human need. Love and connection. There's, again, sharing good stories and bad stories with you. I want to do that because it makes a lot more sense sometimes. There's a pub just off junction 10 of the M11, just in a little village called Duxford. Some of you probably know it. And it's called the John Barley Court, just off junction 10 of the M11, yes. And it used to be run by a guy called Bernard Lee. I know Bernard Lee quite well. And Bernard always said to me, he said that I always want my customers to love us when we come in. And he said we always make a point of going to see them, whether they just come in for a drink or they just come in for a bite to eat, of actually going up to them and actually saying, thank you so much for coming today. We really want your experience to be memorable. Please tell us anything but anything we can actually do to make that a little bit better for you. He loves his customers, and you could just tell by looking in his eyes, he really, really meant it. So how can you create love? And Diego yesterday from Waterside said exactly the same thing. How can you create that love and feeling? And you do have to connect with people. Let me give you another poor story. And if there's anybody here from Marston's, please come and see me now because I stand on my words. I went to a Marston's pub, managed pub, about 2 Saturdays ago for a friend's birthday. Again, I'll tell you exactly where it is, because I want to share good, but I also want to share not so good. It was another Bull's Head, interestingly enough, at a little village called Breaston in Derbyshire. No love whatsoever, absolutely nothing. Just felt like a number. I felt like the 157th guest that actually walked into that pub that evening. Just no love, nothing, no connection. Let me just very briefly as well share this with you. Again, you'll have all heard this, but ladies and gentlemen, when you go away from here, I want you to think about this and think about actually consciously doing it. Because some of the things I'm talking to you about today, you unconsciously are unaware of. It's a bit like the first day you started to drive a car, you were consciously aware of a whole ton of stuff. And now you can get in your car, you can drive to London or Birmingham or Manchester, whatever, and you're unconsciously unaware because your subconscious is driving it, not yourself. So think about, what can I do to create some love and connection in my pub or bar? And the best way to connect with somebody, we all know this, is to look into their eyes and smile, isn't it? Pretty much? Yeah. And let me just give you actually a little bit to this, ladies and gentlemen. But the best way to connect with somebody is actually to look into their eyes, smile and count to 5. Because once you've actually looked in somebody's eyes and counted to 5, you've got a connection. Which is why if you're ever in a pub or bar and you fancy somebody like Matt over the far side, and you're kind of looking at them and they're turning away, there's one of two things going on. Either they're very shy or they don't fancy you. Okay? Because if they do, you'll get eye contact for 5 seconds. So just try this. Get some eye contact. When I went to the Bull's Head the other week in Breaston, no eye contact, no eye contact. It's the most important thing to connect with people. And Diogo yesterday from Waterside said exactly that thing. How can you create love with where you actually are, no matter what kind of pub or bar you're running? Because the psychology, ladies and gentlemen, we are driven by how we feel. Absolutely. There's a lady, funnily enough, in the Premier Lounge. She couldn't get time off to come and watch this, just across the corner there. And a girl called Yu, and she's been fantastic this 3 days that I've been here, because every time you walk in, she acknowledges you. Good morning, how are you, da-da-da, yes? Number 1. Number 2, she always looks you in the eyes. And number 3, she always smiles. Now, we've all heard it before, haven't we? How many times have we heard it? How many times? But it's that will make the difference. It's that will get the connection. It's that will get your customers to come back. It's about how they feel with you. It's interesting, Helena over the back there, and on Monday I asked a young lady also about kind of great experiences and wow experience that he had. And they all came back with some of the feelings things. And people often talk about atmosphere or ambience of a pub, don't they? Ambience, atmosphere of a pub. You tell me, what does that mean? Ambience, atmosphere, what does it mean? Anybody? Sir, thank you so much. Sir, what's your name, please? Phil, thank you, Phil. Feeling. That's exactly what it is, feeling. You ever walked into a pub, a bar, restaurant, they spent an absolutely ton of money on it, and there's a gentleman down here that does some fabulous stuff with pubs and hotels and bars, but it just kind of didn't feel right, because the staff were kind of cold to you. Yeah? It's all about people, ladies and gents. You've all heard this so many times before, and the reason that I'm labouring the points is because it's so important. Ultimately, this is what will turn it around. This is what will make people come back to you. This is the point of difference. Why has the Waterside Inn at Bray been so popular and so successful for so long? Well, for those of you that weren't here yesterday, it's down to passion, it's down to excellence, it's how people are feeling when they come and eat and drink there. So if there's only one thing that you take away today, ladies and gents, it's all about a feeling. All about a feeling. Okay, somebody about just told me I've only got about 5 minutes left. A couple of stories for you. Right, one of the things I'd also noticed, I want to share this with you very quickly. Okay, I've noticed that successful pub and bar owners have got a few things in common. What I would call the 5 fundamental factors to success. There's a few things they've got in common when you start to look at people. Like, I've been very privileged this week to talk to people like David Moore and James Russ from up in Glasgow. And I had the pleasure just very briefly yesterday of meeting Diogo. They've got something in common. There's a few things they've got in common. All successful, profitable, whether it's a hotel, a pub, a bar, a restaurant. A few things for you. They always want to give their customers a marvellous memory. Their customers are the be-all and end-all. They love to give service. They want, when they come to your pub or your bar, to feel like it's a home from home. A home from home, ladies and gentlemen. They also, sorry, I'm a bit quick there, haven't I? They also want to be the very best at what they do. If you want to use the word excellence, they're always on a journey. And one of the best bits of advice I shared with you very early today was go and find people who know them more than you do. Go and find people who you can learn from. The very best people, and go and learn from them. And the other thing I've found by working for myself over the years is every one of the people I've ever met that was at the top of their game in the industry, whatever part of their industry it was, love to share. They love to give. They're huge givers, and they will nearly always give you some time, give you some pointers, give you some advice. It doesn't matter if you get things wrong along the way, because ultimately it's about picking yourself up and going to find people that can help you just tweak a few little things to make things better. It's about a journey of development. These people always want to be the very best. They're always learning. They've also got a ton of love and a ton of passion. A whole load of enthusiasm. Nothing great ever happened without enthusiasm. Ever. And they also have amazing attention to detail. They're the kind of owners, if they're running a pub or a bar, that if we walked through this and this was kind of the pub bar, you're walking in, there's a piece of litter on the wall, they'd actually pick the litter up, put it in their pocket. Attention to detail. Attention to detail. Okay, right. I said at the beginning of today, excuse me just 1 second, just need to put a little drink of water. I said I was going to give you a gift at the end for coming along today, for listening to me. If you use this gift that I'm going to give you, I'm going to give each and every one of you a copy of this to take away today. If you use this, if you pay attention to this, if you apply it to your business, it will make a radical positive difference to your business. And it will put you ahead of most of your competitors, because most people just don't do a whole ton of stuff. And a lot of these things on this gift I'm going to give you, you will know, you'll have come across before, but I'm going to repeat myself again, because repetition is the mother of skill. We have to repeat things to develop a skill. It's not just doing it 1 or 2 times, it's doing it 50, 100, 200, 500 times. It will make a radical positive difference to your business. So, what I'm going to give you to take away, each and everyone who's going to copy this, 50 things that customers want, will come back for and will pay you more money for. So this is how I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to send it to you. If you just want to take your mobile phones out, ladies and gents, you just take your mobile telephone out, so exactly how this works. Ever so easy. So we need every single one of you a copy of this takeaway today. So we're going to send it you and we're going to email it you. So all you actually need to do, ladies and gents, is just text your first name, text the word food, space, your first name, space, and the best email address for you to 66777. So the word food, space, then your first name, then space, and then the best email address for you. And each and every one is going to get a copy of that sent to your email address. So 50 things that customers want, will pay more money for, and will get coming back into your business. So just take a moment to do that. Okay, right, I'm nearly out of time, ladies and gents. Let's just pull all these up. Just as a summary takeaway from today. The secret really is how you make people feel. And you want to make people feel great, you want to love people, you really want them to go away, whatever pub, whatever bar that you're actually running. You don't want to feel like I felt about 3 weeks ago at my girlfriend's friend's party, when we went to the Wolves Head and we felt like they didn't care, they weren't really bothered, they weren't really interested. You've got to make people feel good. Those 4 human needs of 6 human needs that I talked about will actually help you do that. Most of you have heard it all before, but it's about applying it. What I wanted to do today is take it down to its rawest level, to the psychology, because that's what drives you and me. It's about how we feel, and we have certain needs that we all actually have a need to fulfill. So when I've listened to David Moore, I've listened to Diego, I've listened to James over the last few days, and everybody else that you listen to that are running really successful pubs, bars, hotels and restaurants, it's a formula, ladies and gentlemen. They're actually making people feel great by touching the need to the four needs of the human six needs. Okay, the last thing, I talked about this earlier, but they're always on a journey of learning. Always want to learn, then train the team. Learn, train, review. I just want you, before I wrap it up in 1 minute's time, to write this down, please. Are you ready? Because this is crucial. Just before I finish. Whatever you do, whatever your job role is, whether you are the owner of a pub or bar, whether you're the manager of a pub or bar, whether you work behind the bar, you're a bartender, whether you're maitre d', whatever your role is, I want you to write this question down, and I want you to ask yourself this question every single day of the week. And here's the question. How do I give my guests and customers more value than they would ever expect to receive? Let me repeat. How do I give my customers and guests more value than they would ever expect to receive? And if you do that, and taking Peter Martin's words from Monday about it's now a battlefield out there, you will never, ever, ever have to worry about getting enough customers into your pub and bar. You'll never, ever need to worry about making enough money in your pub and bar, because people will love you and will want to come back to you, because that gives them that feeling that taps into certainty, surprise and excitement, significance, and the fact that you love them dearly. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening for the last 45 minutes. I'm just going to share my mantra with you to finish. It's this. For today and every day, be the very best for yourself, for your staff, and for your customers and guests. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Have a great day. Thank you.